I've got the ads music marketing guru, Andrew Southworth, today. Brother, thank you so much for joining with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Great to be back.
Yeah, man. Well, I've been watching your interviews, the tutorials, and just really appreciate everything you're doing to help with artists like, growing their music with ads and whatnot. And so the first question, I just want to jump right into it, is like, what is the largest budget you've ever managed for a music artist?
Oh, that is jumping right into it. Man, thinking right off the spot. Well, last week I had to give a quote to someone for a 100K budget,
Love it.
but that's not, we haven't run that yet. Who knows if it'll actually end up being reality, but
Yeah.
I think that kind of shows like the upper limit of what some people are even considering.
Yeah.
And it's not just ads, but
Right.
it actually is mostly ads. The biggest budget I think I've ever ran for a singular song slash campaign, I think is on the order of like 20 to 30 grand
That's awesome.
in USD. Yeah.
And what time frame, like how long was that over, like period of time?
Believe it was 4 months or so, 4 to 6
Okay.
months,
Okay.
maybe on the upper end. And it was all meta conversion, going to streaming services on a landing page type of thing. The thing that, I've made like 100 videos about it, and I think
Yeah.
you've actually made several videos about that too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was spread over a longer period and initially started where the artist wanted to do, I think like 3 grand.
Okay.
And then it just did so well that they're like, here's another five, et
Yeah.
cetera. And then we stopped spending when the song stopped working, essentially. Like the song just kind of kept blowing up and blowing up. I've made videos about it too, so it's not necessarily even like a a hidden song. Like you can look it up. It's
Right.
at least I think this is the biggest one, but it's Rain by Oscar Med K.
So
And I've run a few.
what was it at when you started, and where did it end up?
It was the artist's first song,
Oh,
so it
cool.
literally was started from zero.
Wow.
I think the peak, the artist had 500,000 monthly listeners. And that fell, of course. I think now might be over a million, but that's because of future songs that they've been
Yeah.
promoting.
Yeah.
The song currently, I think, is 9.5 million on Spotify alone.
So, dude, it's a shame they didn't have more out, or the instrumental, or a remix, or like
Yeah,
acoustic, like just an EP, all of that song, promote the one, and they would have gotten a lot more streams.
yeah, yeah. I
um,
mean, and years fast forward several years, seems like they had another song pop off,
yeah,
and you can see the benefits of. I don't know what they're spending for this one, but they peaked even bigger. Like
that's
I think
awesome.
when I looked at them last, they had over like 1.2 million or something, which for an indie artist is pretty dope, right? Like
Yeah.
that's really, I mean, you've I don't know what the highest you've ever climbed to, but I know you hit a million at
Yeah,
one
we hit
point.
over a million monthly listeners. A lot of that was being part of the Spotify discovery mode when it first came out, and
Yeah.
we're releasing a lot of songs, and I was doing all the same stuff, ads, all that stuff.
As an indie artist, that's freaking hard to hit a million monthly listeners. Like it takes either a lot of money or like some organic luck,
Yeah,
or but usually it's just persistence and budget, you know.
yeah. Well, I sold a portion of my catalog, and so I'm not even promoting my, hits, so to speak. I'm trying to make more hits and actually kick my current catalog, down. I've got about maybe four or
Yeah,
five songs that I own in my top 10, and I'd like to dominate that whole list, you know what I mean? Um,
right.
and so going back to that guy, so it obviously was working. And when you say working, like what's the cost per click, engagement click, that you're like, what do you
Mm.
look for on that, um, for scaling? You know what I mean?
I
Ready to throw that
think
much budget.
Yeah, I think the answer is it depends, of course, but for
Yeah.
in their specific case, I think it was like 15 to 18 cents,
Okay.
uh, tier one countries only per
Awesome.
conversion. And I think that might have even been in Canadian. I think we were running it through a Canadian ad account.
Okay.
Um, but it was under 20 cents regardless. And the biggest part wasn't necessarily just the super low cost per conversion. It was also the algorithmic traction.
Yes.
I don't remember the exact numbers, but it it was one of those songs where when you look at the breakdown of the source of streams on Spotify, where it shows like how many fans or how many profiles and how many, what is it called? Your artist profile and catalog, how many listeners own playlists and library, how many editorial, and how many algorithmic and how many other. Their algorithmic section, I think, was like 80%. So it's like
Wow.
80% of the streams they were getting were from the algorithm, even though we were running this, at times $300 a day ad spend.
Yeah.
It was Spotify was basically 5xing everything that we drove. And then also the engagement of the song, like people were going back and re-listening a bunch. So
Yeah.
we had a super low cost per conversion, like under 20 cents tier one is insane.
Yeah.
We had really good engagement rates, like, super high percentage of people saving it, adding it to playlists, super high percentage of people re-listening to the song. And then three, the algorithm was really pushing it out. And those three things are what I typically tell people that if you're gonna dump a ton of cash into a song, it should have those three things. If it
Yeah.
has great cost per conversion and great engagement, but Spotify doesn't want to push it out, it
Yeah.
might still be a great song to promote, but it's probably not going to be like a 10 million stream song.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to effectively promote and get earn every single stream instead of being gifted a big chunk of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But you
Well,
can
that,
also have a song be kind of expensive, but the engagement's great and the algorithm pushes it out. And sometimes those can be worthwhile as well.
well, I'd love your thoughts, advice. So for my song personally, Teardrops, it was getting like 300 streams a day. I bumped it up to maybe 50. Well, I want to use US dollar numbers. Probably like 50 or 60 is as high as I went per day. And we got that up to 3,000 streams. And that was about the month mark or month and a half. All of a sudden, that's when the algorithm grabbed it. But I personally think, and I also just want your advice on this, like we were getting engagement clicks. Like right now, I'm getting like 8 cents Canadian, but that's in a third tier country, Philippines. I think, and I want your advice, like I don't think I even promoted it enough in the US and should really consider taking that with a much higher budget. What would your thoughts be if that's what I got? Do you think there would have been way more room?
So the tricky part with countries like the Philippines and India and a bunch of others is that a lot of people there are on the free plan,
Yes.
Spotify, and so when they're streaming on their phone, they can't listen to any song they want. So you end up
Okay.
with a lot of cheap conversions that sometimes don't translate into streams, or sometimes because it'll shuffle your artist radio,
Yes.
and so sometimes you don't end up with good streams. And there's tactics to correct that and improve that ratio of like that drop off, but that's why a lot of times I don't run in those countries.
Okay.
That being said, clearly it worked well for you. As you said, you were getting
Well,
5,000 streams a
I
day.
was doing some in the other tier too. I'm just looking at it again and just double checking, and it does looks like in the other countries I was getting anywhere from 12 to 15 cents US. So I was
Yeah,
doing the other countries as well. So I forgive me on that. It wasn't just Philippines.
gotcha. I mean, that sounds like one that would be a good contender.
Yeah.
Super low cost in the countries that stream well.
Yeah.
And I like, let me kind of add a little context too. Even if you're getting, let's say 25 cents a conversion and it includes tier two countries,
Yeah.
that would still be a great result. So even if it's mostly Brazil, Mexico,
Right.
you can still scale up totally fine. I haven't found any advantage to getting your streams from the US or Canada or UK specifically.
Yeah.
It seems like Spotify doesn't care for the most part. The only advantage is you get paid a lot more if you get streams in
Right.
the tier
Yeah.
one markets.
Yeah.
So in your case, if you have a song that performs that well, it's the last two parameters you're checking is what does the engagement look like, and then what is the algorithm doing with the song.
Yeah.
And if the engagement's great, and then the algorithm wants to push it out, might be a really good song to keep pushing.
Okay.
And potentially even use that song to push into other things you have, like promote that song and then dump people into a playlist that has like more of your music on it.
Yeah, like if I was gonna do it, I wouldn't do it to my genre-based playlist. I would do it to a playlist that would just be all my songs because that's the next thing question I have for you because you really inspired me on that podcast with Jesse and Matt Bacon and getting the other dude's name right now. We love you both.
Dustin.
Dustin. Is you know, you mentioned about taking an artist to 1 million monthly listeners, and I guess my question to myself is what does it cost? What would I take to spend if I like, you know, double tripled or did that $5,000 budget that I think you mentioned, or 10,000? I think you said the guy had an investor or whatnot, but you said he went to 1 million monthly listeners. Is that the same guy that we were talking
Oh
to?
yeah, yeah. That's actually a different person.
Oh,
Funny enough, I
better.
actually talked to him this week, or last week, because today's Monday. But
Oh, cool.
we he actually used to work at my agency
Oh, cool.
a couple of years ago, and then his music career just took off so much that he quit to pursue music full time. So it was a pretty bittersweet
Yeah.
thing. Like on one hand, we lost this like awesome employee that we all loved working with that did a great job, but then on the other hand, he when we hired him, he had like 50,000 monthly listeners, and when he quit, he had like 350,000 monthly listeners, and now he has 900,000 monthly listeners.
Yeah.
So it was pretty badass to see that growth.
Yeah.
And he had an investor. You know, this is a scenario that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
Most artists are self-funding. They don't have either like they're not already rich, they don't have a rich family, or they don't have an investor. So he was very fortunate in that. But he was able to spend, you know, upwards of 5 to 8K a month, I believe, and then they allowed him to use a chunk of the money they were investing to cover his rent. So that's what
Okay.
enabled him to go full time.
Wow.
And he just ran like the ads that we all talk about. He wasn't doing anything
Yeah.
special. It's just he
Yeah.
was testing every song that he had. He was testing a million ads. He was
Yeah.
testing a million audiences. It just, you know, he was like, this is like my shot to pull this off. So he
Yeah.
he put a ton of work into it. He released music consistently. He
Yeah.
played a ton of shows locally. He tried his best to do as much content as possible. Um, and it worked.
Yeah.
And you know, when I talked to him last week, he said that they were actually they've been profitable for several months
That's
as
awesome.
well, like month over month, not like looking at a long duration, but
Yeah.
we spend 8 grand this month and we made, I'm not going to say the exact number, but significantly more than 8 grand
Yeah. Yeah.
this month. And that is, you know, that's a few things. That's promoting the songs, getting a really good cost per conversion. That's having great engagement. That's releasing music regularly. That's hitting the algorithm really hard on those
Yeah.
songs. And so some of that you can control and some of it you can't
Yeah.
control. But that is a
Yeah.
different artist than the one I was talking about before.
Okay. But he did it though. Like he took us he was all so like 5 to 8K a month. And you know, people like, you know, because I had 1 million monthly listeners and I know how much we made. Like it was a lot more than 5 to 8K a month in royalties. And what artists need,
Yeah.
I think, to understand is like, yeah, what's so good about I think these meta ads is that like it's not just Spotify streams, like Apple Shazams go through the roof, Amazon, you know, like there's so much spillover. Not it's not always the easiest to track, but
Yeah.
you know, there's a heck if it connects, it really blows up, man. Um,
Yeah, and a million monthly listeners isn't a million streams per month, right? It could be on a worse side, it might be 3 million streams a month.
okay.
It might on the better side be 10 million streams a month, right? It just
Yeah,
depends on the audience and how engaged they are. But then you have, as you said, Apple and then YouTube, and then because he grew his audience, he was able to get much bigger shows much more
yeah,
easily, right?
yeah,
It's kind of a thing, as silly as it is, that if you don't have an audience at all, even if you know you could draw a crowd, you're gonna have trouble booking a lot of shows because they're gonna look at your Spotify and be like, oh, this band has 300 monthly listeners.
yeah,
Well, you know, no, you can't play here.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if you hit them up with 900,000 or something, even if they're not in that city, a lot of times you might actually get that show because they,
yeah,
even if they know they're not in the city, they know like, well, this dude clearly is gonna pull it off, right? They're gonna go do some marketing, they're gonna run some ads, they're gonna do whatever. And it's not just that, right? At a certain point, they actually want to see tangible evidence that you can like move tickets and draw a crowd, but
yeah.
it's getting your foot in that door, right?
Oh, for
It
sure.
opens up a lot of doors if you have an audience that's that big.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like if I was touring again, like you know, it just makes it so much like when you're touring profitably and making money off of that, it's just extra cash to dump back into your career, in my opinion. And I think
Yeah.
as artists, they don't like because they just haven't made money or they just haven't seen what it's like to be there. They're skeptical, I think, of spending enough money to actually move the needle for it to matter in a meaningful way,
Yeah.
and like I'll just be honest, for me, even the success I've had, okay, I want to move this song from 300 streams to 3,000. That might seem like a lot, but that's really nothing compared to 20, 50,000 streams a day, and now the algorithm just continuing to feed, right? Man, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And
So
it can be risky too, right? You know,
yeah,
not every song's going to pop off, not every artist is going to pop off, and you have to baby step it to a degree, in my opinion.
at least you
Like,
can. At least you can with men. It's not like a radio campaign where you just friggin'
yeah,
blow your whole thing. You can step it up and maybe speak into that because I don't think
exactly.
artists realize like how like this guy you said tested well, not millions, but he tested a lot of different ad creatives so
Yeah.
that he could get that cheapest click-through rate, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't start spending that much money per month. He started off spending like a grand a
Yeah,
month or something. He might have even started. Honestly, he did start less because there was a point when he didn't have the investor, and he
right.
was showing him what he was doing with his own $500 to $1,000 a month, and then that's what got them excited about the project, and even allowed it to happen in the first place. But they baby stepped it. They gave him a certain amount of money, and then he spent it, and they looked at the results, and then they were like, okay, cool, we see enough coming back, or we're confident that in this window of time that they specified, we'll make a return or at least make our money back. So here's another chunk. And then you
Yeah,
got a little bit more per month, a little bit more per month. And that's what I think everyone should really do, whether you're self-funding or you have any kind of scenario, honestly, is you don't just want to dump money and then just like see what happens. You want to you want to be able to spend some money and kind of then see what happens and then spend more money and see what happens and more money and see what happens over time
yeah,
so that you don't blow all your money on something that doesn't actually work. And
yeah.
to that same extent, that applies to songs. I don't think you should just drop a song and come out the gate $500 a day,
No.
because by the time you know your campaign's not working, you've already blown like a big chunk of your budget.
Yeah.
Uh, you want to start kind of aggressively so that the algorithms can learn and that Spotify can get data, but you also, if a song's not hitting, it's not hitting. You can't make a song work.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, a song's going to work or it's not. And
Yeah.
you can improve it and make it better, but um, let's say you have one song that's 60 cents conversion, another one that's 20. Well, if you spend all the money you would have spent on the 61 on the 21, now your money is going three times further.
Right. Right. Heck
And that's
yeah,
how I
man.
like to do it.
And how do you like to scale? Like let's say we start 50 a day and then 100 and and not just scaling budget, but like how would you scale the campaign out as far as like the targeting with countries and just yeah, I'll let you
Yeah.
do that.
The scaling budget is pretty consistent, but the scaling with the audiences and ads can differ a lot. So the scaling with the budget, let's say we launch, just to make the math easy, at $50 a day. Uh, Once the campaign gets through the initial few day learning phase, I will start going up in 50% increments. So go from
Yeah.
50 to 75 and then 75 to 110 and then 110 to 165 and kind of stair stepping up until you
Yeah.
hit your target spend goal.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I found that if you just start high out the gate, you can get pretty bad diminishing returns
Mm,
on the Facebook side. And my theory is, I don't know if it's actually correct, because Meta's kind of a black box with stuff like this,
yeah.
is that behind the scenes, all these ad platforms are auctions, right? They're literally like eBay, where you're bidding to say, I'm willing to pay this much to
Mm,
show my ad to this person. The only thing is with Facebook, they don't show you the auction. It's all hidden behind the scenes.
yeah.
So my theory is that when you launch a campaign on a lower budget, they're kind of setting your bid lower, like you're willing to target cheaper
Mm,
people because they don't think you have as much budget, and then they kind of lock in this learning around that bid, and then as you scale it up in small chunks, the campaign doesn't go back into learning. And if anyone's ever curious and you look up something about scaling ads, you'll find it's a whole thing. It's like a whole art form. They have all these weird black magic tricks that they do where they clone the best ad set and they don't even change it. They just clone it and publish a second copy of it. And for some reason, that magically allows them to scale up. There's all these weird tricks, right? And
Yeah.
this is one of them that I found works better than, if I want to get to 300 a day, I found if I launch at 300 a day, dumpster fire. If I
Yeah.
start at lower and then scale up to 300 a day,
Yeah.
I'm spending 30% more than I was when I was at 50 a day, but I'm not spending 10x more than when
Yeah.
I was at 50 a day.
Yeah. You're kind of like
Um,
telling Facebook, look, I'm like, you're kind of fighting for a cheaper conversion, so to speak. I found that even with my ads for Smart Music Business, like if I'm going too aggressive right away and don't stair step up, it's like, yeah, it'll get me the conversion at, I don't know, $20 as opposed to 15 or less, you know what I mean? But as I gradually
yeah,
increase it, it's definitely gives me a cheaper link click for sure. So when you do
yeah.
the budget, do you duplicate and go out to, I know we kind of talked about this earlier, but like, okay, say we're doing Brazil and Mexico, for instance. Once we've spent $200, let's say we're spending $200 a day there, then would you do $200 a day or $50 a day now to different countries? Um, how would you look at doing that?
So a lot of the times I have the same countries in every ad set. So I'll
Yeah,
have like a tier one, two ad set targeting this thing, and then a tier one, two audience targeting that thing. And I'm using what they call campaign budget optimization. So
yeah,
the budget's at the campaign level, and Meta's deciding how to allocate it across the different ad sets.
yeah,
Most of the time, at least.
yeah.
There's definitely exceptions to that, but
Okay.
uh, in that case, I'm not cloning by country, right? And that is an approach that people use. But what I'll do is, let's say I increase the spend and I'm starting to see bigger diminishing returns than I'd like. Like you go from 100 a day to 150 a day, and you're spending 50% more, but you're not getting 50% more results. So maybe the
Right.
cost per conversion goes from 20 cents to 40 cents,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah. You're spending
You're
you're
spending
spending more and getting the same or less. That's like the worst, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what you're trying to prevent. Like it's okay if you go from 20 to 25 or to even 20 to 30, but going from 20 to 40 would be it gets to be the point where it's not even worth going up. And
Yeah.
so at that point, I'll usually either hold or go back down to a lower spend and then add more audiences, testing different targeting parameters, add more ad creatives,
Yeah.
testing out a different visual style. Um, because if every time you have an ad on Facebook, they're trying to match it to different people,
Yeah.
and they have a guess as to like this person will probably like this ad, and that person will probably like this ad. And if you can give them more audiences and more ads, then it gives them more wiggle room
Mm.
to optimize the campaign and potentially give you a lower cost per conversion.
How many do you normally run? I normally do like, I don't know, 2 to 3 like per ad set is normally what I do. Do you do more? Do you do less?
2 to 3 ads per ad set,
Creatives per ad set. Yeah.
usually between 4 and 8.
Oh wow, a lot more.
Yeah, it depends a bit, but um, yeah, I'd say that's the most common. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll do all 8 in one. Sometimes I found that Facebook won't try every ad if you do it that way. They'll
Yeah.
they'll ignore half of them. And so in that case, I'll do like a this audience, this batch of four, the same audience, that batch of four in a separate one.
Right.
And sometimes I'll put a minimum in one or the other because
Okay.
it's kind of frustrating if let's say you give Facebook even 12 ads, for example, and they spend 99% of the money on two of them,
Yeah.
and you don't have a single conversion for the other 10, you don't feel like Facebook did a good job of actually testing your ads. And
Yeah.
sometimes when you force them to, you realize why they didn't spend money in
Yeah.
those other videos.
Yeah, they just knew it was just wasn't they tried gave it a few impressions and they just knew immediately this isn't
Yeah.
a winner, and yeah, sometimes we'll split it out to force it to spend to see if it was. And I definitely would never recommend less than a few ads though, because like, and I think that's where a lot of artists make mistakes is like, oh, I tested this ad, and it's like, dude, you tested one and it was horrible. Like, no, ain't no one clicking on that. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. One ad is like the worst thing you could possibly do, honestly.
Like,
Like it's testing out one part of the song, testing out one type of video, testing out one song even if it's a song if it's a campaign that could have more than one song.
yeah,
You know, like when you're promoting an album, that's really the big advantage of promoting an album is that you can use any song from the album in your ad.
yeah.
And that might mean like we had a client a few months ago that they did three singles with us, and then we were building up to this album, and they were hiring us for the album push as well. I think we actually went number one in Scotland charts, actually, which
Oh,
was pretty
dope,
sweet.
dude. That's
You know,
cool.
they already had some traction, but it was sweet to be part of that campaign that
Yeah,
helped them hit number one in their country.
yeah.
Um, and they, uh, when the album came out, we already knew out of those three singles which ones worked and which ones didn't,
Mm,
right? So we skipped the songs that did bad,
yeah.
but we kept the song that did the best. I think we actually might have had four singles, and we kept two for the album. But we didn't use every ad from the songs that worked. We only used the best one or two videos from each song that worked and the best one audience from the songs that worked. And then we picked a few more songs from the album to run as new tests. So we had the best of the best from the previous songs and then a few new songs.
Mm,
And, you know, each of the previous songs had, I think, 12 plus ad creatives. So we whittled down from 12 ad creatives, what is the best two?
yeah.
And we did that for two songs. So now we're going from 24 ads down to four. And then we're trying an additional two to three songs. So let's just say that's another 12 ads. So, you know, the scope of testing here is, you know, like dozens and dozens and dozens of
Yeah,
ad creatives
yeah,
across dozens of audiences. And you don't always need that many or anything, but you know, it did really good. And that's
yeah,
because we tried so many things. And most of what we tried didn't work. That's
yeah,
why we try so much, is because if it's sometimes you get lucky and the first thing you publish just works great.
yeah,
But for that artist, there were times we went to them and said, "Hey, can you get us another video like this?
yeah.
Because this is not working, but this is, and we think that if we do more like this, then the campaign will go better."
Are
And
you
it did.
finding certain creatives work better than others? Like, or anything like specifically that's working and not?
Yeah. Of course, like everything, it depends on the
Right,
genre and the artist and
right.
everything. But uh, for them and for most people, I'd say social media-esque looking videos of the
Mm,
artist performing on screen, like TikTok style, Instagram Reel style, etc.,
yeah,
is probably the most likely winner. But if you're an EDM artist, it's the typical winning ad is using some beautiful footage of some like drone shot looking over the ocean and putting lyrics on it.
yeah,
And if you're like a metal artist, the Instagram TikTok style thing is probably not going to work because it comes across as cheesy.
yeah,
Depending on the genre of metal, if it's a more like pop metal,
yeah.
like a Linkin Park, you know, then that would probably work fine. But if it's like a
Heavier death metal.
Periphery, Dream Theater, or something, right? Like
Yeah.
that wouldn't look very on brand. Um, so it depends on the genre,
Hmm,
but
hmm.
overall, I'd say getting the artist on screen performing, making the shot look good, but not looking too fancy. A lot of times, music videos
Yeah,
perform worse than social media clips.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I found that as well too. I This one song I just could not get to work is a heavier rock song called Save You, and it's got like 9 million streams on Spotify, but as far as ads, I could not get it to work, and I kept on testing and testing, and what finally worked was some like B-roll footage of skateboarding. Um and obviously I need to test more. I tested a lot of creatives, man, but you could be so close. And again, it's not
Yeah,
always the song, right? Like it just could be the creative. Um, and
totally.
I think artists give up way too soon, man. Um,
They do. Yeah, a lot of people will say that they tried running ads and it didn't work, and assume that therefore ads don't work.
yeah,
When in reality, it's either they set something up wrong or the song they picked was just they picked a bad one to start with, and that's not their fault. It just kind of is how it is.
yeah,
Um, I usually tell people if you drop 10 songs, chances are you're going to get two just slam dunk winners, two just pitiful losers, and then six on some bell curve in the middle, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. That's
just,
good.
I know people that will do better than that, or people who do worse than that, but
Yeah.
For the most part, it's better to assume you're not exceptional and
Yeah.
that you're average, and therefore that some of what you put out will perform great and some of what you put out will not perform at all. And if you, as soon as you accept that, I think marketing gets a lot easier because it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, it's just not working. We've tried all the things we can try. But instead of burning money forcing this to work, we're just going to accept that this is just a song that maybe it's more of an album track. Maybe it's more of a thing for the fans. Maybe it's not the single that gets us fan growth.
Mm.
Let's save our money, pivot to the next song we release. Now, if you've tried 5 songs and nothing's working, either you've done something wrong horribly across the whole process, or maybe your type of music needs to be promoted a different way, right? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't seen a genre that hasn't worked in ads, but that doesn't mean that I haven't seen artists that had 3 or 4 bad runs in a row. That maybe it's like maybe there's something else they got to do.
Hmm.
Maybe there is something with the music, maybe there is something with the content they're making, or maybe it is just their music's not the best fit for the format.
Yeah. I know this gets into the weeds a little bit, but it needs to be right is the ad copy. I know I try to just keep it as simple and short as possible. It's not really, I always say to artists, it's not the time to be clever and creative, it's the time to be clear. Um,
Yeah.
what, you know, check out this rock song or check out this rock playlist, check out this heavy, I don't know, check out this EDM playlist. If we're going to a playlist, and then normally just, you know, if it was my song, Save You by Manifest or whatever, anything, any advice or what do you guys typically do there?
So I did an A/B test, like a proper meta A/B test of a year ago, maybe now. And we tried one set of ads with the normal text I would do, which is like for fans of, I
Yeah.
forget what artist I use, for fans of alternative metal, check this out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did the other version was no text at all. And
Okay.
Meta, after $300 of testing, Meta found no statistical difference.
Wow.
Now, there was text on screen. I don't
Yes.
remember what it was, but it might have just been a simple like listen on Spotify and a logo.
Wow.
And so I found for like the streaming campaigns, it's best not to overthink it
Yeah. The
because
ad is doing like 90% of the lift in the song, right?
yeah, the video, the song, like that's by far the most important part.
Yeah.
But now I only ran a $300 test and only did one song. My theory is that that kind of proves that really you shouldn't overthink the text. Because I know people who obsess over it and they'll spend like 30 minutes writing the
Oh my
perfect thing and
God.
do all these variations and whatever. It's not yeah, it's usually not worth it. In terms
Yeah.
of bang for your buck, you'd better off putting that time into making more creatives or versions of
Yeah.
your videos.
Yeah.
However, uh, some people scroll social media with their sound off, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think
Hmm.
that's where the captions will start to matter more
Yes.
because if you have a good caption there, that might get them to turn their sound on. So still a small difference, but like if you're spending $1,000 and you're getting a 5% improvement, you
Yeah.
just save $50, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's like one of the
it's
last things, but it's freaking important. And yeah, if you're spending a bigger budget, like you just want everything working for
yeah,
you. And you brought up a good point too, because I heard this is like, yeah, people are scrolling with their sound on. And so I know when we're helping with ads and stuff, it's like you got to think that like, yeah, they're scrolling with their sound off. Why am I going to click on this? Like you got to have some movement or something that's going to make me
yeah.
want to go deeper. Um,
And I'd say that gets even more true when the offer is something deeper than just like go stream this thing. If
yeah,
you're trying to get someone to get tickets to something,
yeah,
to come to a show or to get your CD or your vinyl or your merch or whatever, I think the caption gets more important. And
yeah,
it doesn't have to be a caption and text. It could be a caption on the video itself, but
right,
the offer will get more important because people already pay for streaming, right?
yeah,
They can effectively listen to any song in the world for free. You're really just convincing them to click a button and go check out yours, but they already pay for your song. But
yeah,
if you're trying to get them to buy a ticket to a show or buy merch or take out their wallet or give you their email address, you everything's a little bit harder. It's a little bit of a
Hmm.
bigger ask, so you usually often will need just like more of an incentive to get people to go, and
Hmm.
that means you need a better offer, which could be an offer on screen, or that means a better caption that describes it.
Yeah. Yeah. You said this earlier about the album, and I think it's just good for singles too, as far as like you're talking about that band who had the few singles before the album came out, and then you knew you had the winning creative. So when the album, now you're trying to promote the album, well, we already got two winning creatives. We're not, I'm sure you tested some other stuff, but I find you can do the same thing with a pre-save campaign too, which is valuable, right? Like test a whole bunch of
Yeah.
pre-save ads for the song. So you've got winners before the freaking song drops.
Yeah.
Like that's helpful too.
Literally doing that right now
Yeah.
for my band.
Oh,
We have a
cool,
song
man.
coming out on Friday,
Yeah.
and I don't actually care about the pre-saves.
Right.
Um, nowadays there's lifetime pre-saves, which is nice because they're actually pre-saving to every future song, which is cool.
Yeah.
And even on Spotify, there's a baked-in countdown page pre-save function, which we
Yeah.
have set up because it's an EP technically. And that's the only reason why I started running the ad about a week early. I didn't actually care about the pre-saves per se. I care a little bit about the emails I get from the pre-saves, but I cared about figuring out what ads work, what audiences work, what ads don't work, so that I can go make more videos for release day if the ads I have don't work. And
Exactly.
I've like the campaign's gone through the learning phase. I am hoping that by the time Friday comes, I can crank up the ads already, right? Because the whole
Yeah.
campaign has gone through learning. I figured out what ads work and what don't, what audiences work. And so instead of starting at the like 35 to $50 a day I normally would, I can just immediately jump it up because I'm
Because you
started
know.
early. And a lot of the artists I work with that have bigger budgets, that's been a new tactic we've been doing is they'll say like, I want to spend $300 a day starting a release day. And I'm like, well, that's a bad idea because you're going to get diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So let's start a little bit early and we'll
Yes.
start scaling up before release day. And that
So
kind of
good.
solves both problems. The
Yeah. That.
only problem is like the people you get prior to release day, they're not like wasted per se, but they're definitely not as utilized as they otherwise would be if the song was out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
many of them may not come back and listen to the song when it's out. I mean, hopefully a lot of them will, but I found for pre-saves, like a lot of people that pre-save don't necessarily go back.
No, like they'll get it'll be added to their library. They might get the email from, Hyped It or whoever you use for the pre-saves. But there's no guarantee that they're going to stream it. They might have just done it and then it's not.
Yeah.
But I do Dev. I got to get in way more pre-saves to really know like, and what's a good cost do you find on that? Like, what's a number that you go for the pre-saves as far as like what you aim for?
Yeah. A lot of the times when I set up the campaign, I'm setting it up for the same click event that would be fired when the song's
Oh,
out.
okay. Yep.
And the reason I'm doing that is so that I don't have to republish the campaign. I can just
Oh,
crank it up. And so I actually don't really know what
oh,
my
okay. I
cost per
see what you're
pre-save
saying.
is, and that's largely because I kind of don't care, right? It's
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get to see how much does it cost to get a person to click on that convert
Gotcha.
button.
Gotcha.
That being said, I probably have it pulled up right now. Um, and I don't know exactly what a good cost is, but I have seen people get pre-saves for under $1.
Yeah, I've heard some pretty crazy. I heard 30 cents, which I was like, dang, dude, like that's like I've only just turned one on right now for mine and I'm giving them like 8 songs before, so the offer's really good. But it's
Oh yeah.
costing me 90 cents per thing and I haven't messed with it, which I think is personally really, really high. Um and that's a buck or that's 90 cents US. Um
But even then, you're getting a lifetime pre-save and you're getting their email
yeah,
for 90 cents.
yeah,
Like I would consider that a win, like a huge win.
yeah.
Because a lot of times pre-saves, like in the past, I've seen pre-saves be like $4 in tier one
Jeez.
markets and stuff. So to
Yeah.
get under $1. Now, pre-saves have changed a lot. It used to be the case, like a lot of platforms now utilize what's called like a one-click pre-save, where they don't have to like fully type in their username and password anymore.
Kind of
It'll jump them
autofills.
over to Spotify. It'll be like, and then right there, just do you want to authenticate instead of them having to go to a landing page,
Right.
type in their username and password, and then do the authenticate again. Um, so this current one that I'm running, and again, I don't really care about the cost per, but we spent $20 and it's got 9 lifetime pre-saves. So $2 a pre-save, but
Okay.
we're not offering anything.
Right.
It's
Just
just a landing page,
yeah.
and the campaign's been running for 2 days.
Yeah.
So it'll probably improve from there. But it's only tier one markets too.
Yeah.
So most of the pre-saves are USA only out of the nine. Actually, sorry, it's 11. Out of the 11, nine are from the US. One's from Hong Kong and one's from Mexico.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's cool, man. Have you done any I've tested this and I haven't gotten a ton of results from it, but like when you pre-save, you can set it up so they land on a certain page and kind of
yeah.
control where they go. Have you had any luck with like a really good offer where you sell something and you kind of liquidate some of that ad spend?
So you do a pre-save, but then after they pre-save, you send them to an offer
Yeah, like the page
afterwards.
might be like, "Hey, thanks for pre-saving my song. You can download it here or check your email. We want to offer
Mm,
you free CD, just cover shipping or I don't know, something just really good that's just like,
that I haven't, but that sounds like it would be a great idea
yeah,
because you could even mention on the well, I was gonna say you could mention the landing page. Like you could even
yeah,
mention like pre-save our song to have it to get a free copy of our CD, and then
yeah,
you take them to a free plus shipping and handling page. Now, it might be a little bait and switchy because they're going to get there and they're going to be like, "Oh, it's not actually free. I have to cover shipping."
yeah.
But
You're gonna get
um,
haters either way.
that's true. Yeah,
Um,
even with the regular free plus shipping ads, when I run those, I will literally write on the page, "Just cover the cost of shipping," and it's yours. Like on the ad, I will say that. Like,
yeah,
get your free CD, just cover the cost of shipping, and it's yours. So it's clear from the ad
yeah,
that they have to pay shipping, and even then I'll get comments and DMs of like, it's not fucking free, bro.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's like I said it on the ad. Like I don't know what like it is free. It's just for shipping. Now I'm guessing they've seen enough TV commercials to know how the free plus shipping and handling game works. But at
yeah,
the end of the day, it's a CD for $8,
yeah.
right?
Dude, seriously, like, come on. Like,
So
I
anyone
haven't
that's
been
hating on
running.
it, I think, is being silly.
Yeah, yeah. I like your idea though of the pre-save, like pre-save my song for a chance to win. I don't know if it'd be win and get I don't know how you do it. Pre-save my song and something, and also get a chance to.
Pre-save our song, and we'll give you a copy of our CD for free. Just cover shipping, so that way it's like said right up front.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder,
I don't
man.
know how that would convert.
It'd be
Uh,
great to get the pre-save, hopefully you don't get a whole
yeah.
bunch of fans that are ticked off. It's like pre-saved your song and now you're just trying to sell me CD. It's like, but maybe again, if you're cool in the video and you're just like honest, like, hey, thanks for listening to our music.
Yeah.
Like, bro, we're not trying to, you know, like,
Yeah, you're not some like secretly multi-millionaire artist like trying to scam people out of their money. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
it's like, dude,
most people, if you see you talk on camera, they realize you're not, it's like you're music artists, right? It's not like you're
yeah,
rolling in cash, right?
yeah, no, totally, man.
Unless you're Taylor Swift or something.
Yeah, yeah, she
Um,
probably shouldn't be running a free plus shipping. I don't think her label would let her anyways, but, um,
yeah, yeah. She should just be just giving away CDs at
dude,
the scale she operates, honestly. But I mean, I saw a chart for the number one selling vinyls in the US in I think 2023, and
yeah.
out of the top 10, I think it was four were Taylor Swift albums.
Oh my gosh. I believe
It
it,
was
man. I
insane.
believe
And
it.
none of the albums came out that year, I don't think. I think
No,
they
they're
were
just
all like
legacy records. Yeah.
Legacy Records. He released like a new variant of like, oh,
Yeah.
this is my pink with white splatter
Yeah.
vinyl for
Yeah.
1989 that came out 15 years ago.
Here's another variant.
And then
Like, oh,
boom,
yeah.
20,000 copies.
Oh my gosh, dude. So, so what are you excited about these days, man, as far as the music marketing? Like what's got you, what are you stoked about the future? Where do you see things going, the opportunities?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I would say one thing I'm excited about, but also kind of nervous about, is Meta's constant push into leveraging their AI to help you with your ads.
Yeah.
For example, I did a video recently where I'm talking about how they removed a ton of targeting options.
Yeah.
Like you can't target Linkin Park anymore. In a lot of ad accounts, you can't target most bands actually, like almost every band and most a lot of genres even. Like new metal's gone, metalcore's gone. It's all just
Yeah.
consolidated into heavy metal,
Yeah.
which heavy metal, you and I know is not remotely the same as new metal or
Yeah.
metalcore. Like heavy metal, I think of Metallica,
Yeah.
and new metal is like Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Korn, and
Right.
metalcore is like Bring Me the Horizon, right?
Yeah.
Completely different bands, but they're doing this because they want you to leverage their AI, machine learning, like
Yep.
target this broad thing. We'll figure out the intricate details, which is cool from the perspective of now we don't have to waste our time making all these different audiences and split tests.
Yes.
We can focus on what actually matters most, anyways, which is ad creatives.
Yeah.
Um, but what kind of scares me is a lot of times Meta adds these automated tools. It actually just makes things worse.
Yeah.
Um,
Like here,
they've
do
even,
this, and you click accept, and it friggin' screws the whole thing up. Oh my gosh. Like,
yeah, like when you take the recommendations, it adds Advantage Plus placements, Advantage Plus audiences,
yeah.
and a few other options that ruin your campaign.
Yeah.
And I was using some image ads recently for, I think, a tour promotion campaign, and it recommended some AI content actually
Right.
built into Meta. So I uploaded the flyer for the show as one of our ads, and it was like it popped up this window called image generation. And what it could do is it could get the flyer and using AI put the flyer in different like places. So it could make it look like the flyer was on like a billboard. And
Wow.
so the most of the image was AI generated, but it put our flyer and like on the billboard.
That's
And
crazy.
it generated like 15 options, and we could pick all the ones we wanted to include, and they would just automatically test them all.
Yeah.
And what a lot of big like future thinking AI marketing people have said is that we're kind of converging to this state in advertising where um, it can generate the ads on an individual person basis. So like you give it some guidelines, you give it some
Right.
copy, you give it some images and logos and
Yeah.
maybe a song,
Yeah.
and it generates the ads like hundreds or even thousands of iterations,
Jeez.
and it adapts the ads based on how people interact with the ads.
Yeah.
So you can imagine if it sees like more people are clicking on this type of ad, it can actually just generate more videos
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, we can test instead of testing out five different parts of the song, what if we make ads for every that start every single second of the song?
Yeah.
So one at 1 second mark, one at the 2 second mark, one at the 3 second mark, and then we could just test all, 180 combinations and then see what second do we start at that would be the best performing part of the song. You could do that in an AI ad
That
world.
would be crazy. That'd be crazy.
You could do that now, but you'll
Yeah.
spend like a week building
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
campaign, right?
I'd stick to
Uh,
just maybe a part of the verse, part of the chorus, the different parts, maybe
yeah,
two of each.
that's what I do, and because
Yeah.
we're reasonable people and we got lives to live, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But like for a computer, that's nothing. Who cares?
Right. Right. Speed.
And so I'm excited about it from that perspective, and that there'll still be human creatives because
Yeah.
especially AI video, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hate it, right? They have an aversion to like when they can see an AI generated thing, they're like kind of ick, right?
Yeah.
And so that's not going to be immediate, but the future potential of that is like kind of game changing,
Yeah.
and but it's also terrifying at the same time.
Very. Very.
Um, but I'm kind of excited to try it.
Hmm.
I'm just scared at what it could mean for like running ads and everything too.
Yeah.
And also as an agency owner, it's kind of scary because like the market's constantly changing.
Yeah.
But it's constantly changed in the past too, right? Like
Yeah.
tools like Hyped exist and Smart Noise that can run
Yeah.
ads for you.
Right.
But when those come out as someone who runs ads for people, it's kind of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like what does that mean for
You're
me?
always gonna need like the nuances and stuff. And I think that's
Exactly.
partly why Meta is taking away the targeting, because they just literally want people just to be able to just click, and then they do everything. They just want people to make it so easy to spend money,
Yeah.
and let's make targeting even more simpler. Like, um, I know I
Yeah.
majority of my targeting is open, I would say. Like at the beginning we'll do but my account's pretty seasoned now. But
Yeah.
for new artists though, like, yeah, like, or haven't run a lot of ads, like you want to give Meta a little bit of direction, but again, they're gonna know the best later on.
And
Well,
that's what we
dude,
found with those automated ad tools too, is that They they're great for people who are just starting off or they have a small budget, but once you start spending a good amount of money, you just need more guidance and more customization in your campaign.
Yeah.
And in fact, like we recommend a lot of people use those tools if they come to us and they're like, we have $300. Like
Yeah.
we can't, that's not enough for us to like justify working with you, but like
Yeah.
go use this automated tool, um, because it'll help you out. And then if
Yeah.
eventually, if you're seeing success with this, you're probably going to come back when you have a bigger budget. And that's
Yeah.
actually been the case.
Yeah.
But it's scary with the visuals because now our pivot is like just me looking at this like landscape is they're taking away the targeting, so there's less testing for us to do there. So on our end, we're like already planning like all like a lot more visual testing that we can do
Yeah.
just to justify our existence, but also provide more value for our clients.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if instead of us being like wizards at targeting, which is still valuable even with the changes, if we have even more that we can add to the table for visuals, then now that means this whole change doesn't really impact our performance at all.
Yeah.
Because now the reason people come to us is because in addition to running these campaigns and stuff, we have all these visuals that we're testing and iterating on throughout the campaign.
Yeah.
But in 10
Yeah.
years, when this automated video stuff is in meta, then it's like, okay, like how do we provide value for people now
Yeah.
over what metas do? So that's the beauty of competition and
Yeah. Yeah.
right, that's
Well, no,
capitalism.
but you nailed on the head, dude. If people have got like a big budget, like thousands of dollars, like you're gonna be able to get that to go way further than them just doing it on their own. And because you can get the click-through rate, if not like half, if maybe a third, depending on like,
Yeah.
and that's what they need to understand and where you provide the value. Dude, I'll definitely put links below here for people to contact you, hire you as an agency. I know there's
Sweet.
courses. Dude, you've helped out so many artists and I appreciate this talk, man. It's been inspiring, bro. Thank you so much.